Well, I didn't, I grew up in Hawaii, so always being around the water, being near it or in the water. I always had an interest in aquatic things. I was always spearfishing or something, or my grandparents had a lake behind their house, so I'd always come home from school and go fishing, that sort of thing. But I never really looked at it as a career path, honestly, until I got out of college. Um, and it was when I got out of college that I went into the Peace Corps. And I went into the Peace Corps in a fisheries field. I was put in there because of my background. And that's what really got me interested in the possibility that it could be a career path. So even all the way through college, I really wasn't thinking of fish or fisheries or anything like that as a career path. It's kind of interesting how that thought never occurred to me. I don't know why that was. My father was in the military, and so when I was in high school, we were actually living in Maryland. So I went to college um, at a university in Maryland, and I was a pre-med psychology major. Is what I ended up my degrees in. I was sort of a double major in biology and psychology, but essentially I was on a pre-medical path, and that's why I say my career path in college was not related to fisheries at all. But when I got out of college, I decided, as I said, to go into the Peace Corps. And that was where, because I had that biology background, they put me in a fisheries program. And specifically, the program I was in aquaculture, which is the farming of fish or farming of anything or any kind of aquatic animal or plant even. And that's when it really opened up my eyes to the sorts of things, the applied side of fisheries. It wasn't just fishing, getting fish out of a lake or the ocean. It was the farming of fish. And that really sparked my interest. And it was at that point, I really saw that it was something that I could do as a career. So when I came back from the Peace Corps, I went into graduate school at Auburn University. And I ended up getting my master's degree and my PhD degree in the fisheries department there. But specifically, I got my degree in a field called water quality. Water quality is essentially like the analogy in agriculture is somebody who specializes in soils. So any kind of crop can be grown in soils. So somebody who's a soil specialist works on a wide variety of crops. So I'm the same in the fisheries field or the aquaculture field, is that since my specialty is in water quality, I work on a wide variety of fishes, even plants or shrimp and things like that, because they all live in water. It's all aquatic, right? And so that's sort of a specialty within a generalized field. It's kind of an interesting field within aquaculture and aquatic sciences that allows you to work on a wide variety of animals. So it was after then I got my PhD at Auburn that I went into private industry, and from there I came back to the university. And so that's my educational background and my experience before I arrived at NC State. I have been at NC State now for about 26 years, believe it or not. I got here in 94, almost going on 27 years. So I'm a professor in the Applied Ecology Department. Right now, I'm actually more in the administration of the college. So I don't do as much research as I used to do before, but the aquaculture program and many of the fisheries people are in the Department of Applied Ecology. So we do very applied type of work, which the name sort of implies there. And it is in a department that looks at a very broad variety of species, animals, plants, insects even. Has that broader view of things than some of your more narrow sorts of departments. So that's what I am. I came up through all the academic ranks, and now I have the rank of a full professor. My work really focuses on water quality, and so I would say it would be water quality management, which I said in agriculture is almost like being a soil fertility specialist. So the management of water includes both the chemical management of the water, but also the physical management of it. If you can think of it that way, water being a fluid has to be contained, otherwise it flows all over the place, right? And so when you work with aquatic animals, you have to contain either the animals or the water or both. And so there's that aspect of water quality or water quality management, but then there's also the chemical aspect of it. How do you make the water so that it's suitable for the fish that you happen to be raising? Because not every fish or shrimp lives in the same exact type of water. Fishes from northern latitudes or southern latitudes or fresh water and salt water. If you can think of all the differences there's huge differences chemically between marine water and fresh water. And so as a water quality specialist, I have to understand those differences and whether those differences can be managed for the fishes or the animals that live in the water. So that's my specific area of specialty and the focus of the work. And so when you look at the sort of work that I've done, you'll see that I've worked with a broad variety of animals. And that was on purpose. And it's because when I was getting into my career, I decided that water quality would give me the broadest opportunities to work with all the variety. I had friends who specialized in one particular fish, for example. And I think that was, in my opinion, it was a little bit too narrow. For me, it has worked out well to work on a field that sort of spans all these different species. I've enjoyed it because it's given me that flexibility. But kind of a non-traditional path through academics, because after college, I went into the Peace Corps, and then even after I got all my graduate degrees, I went into private industry. So that is not a typical pathway for an academic. I'm grateful that my family gave me that latitude, that I was able to do those sorts of things without worrying about necessarily getting a job right away. Although I was paid in the Peace Corps, I didn't get paid a whole lot. I was able to obviously live, but that was not something that was a money-making endeavor. But I think more than anything else, what my parents sort of gave me, and even all the people that I met along the way, was the latitude to sort of figure out and to fail, to try things out, not tell me that it wouldn't work, but just give me a chance to try it. And many times you learn a lot more that way than you do actually being told that you can't do it. That seems to be very restrictive. But I think really the most important thing that I would try to impart on everybody is the professors that I met, and obviously my parents, everybody in my family, what they did sort of encourage in me, and I'm going to encourage everybody else in this way too, is to maintain some curiosity, a high level of curiosity about things. You should always be learning something. Keep your mind open to learning all kinds of things. Like I said before, when I was in college, I had no idea the field of aquaculture even existed. I happened to be placed into that field because of my background, like I said, in biology. And that totally opened up my eyes. If I had been fairly narrowly focused, I never would have even considered that field, which has then become my career. I've been in this career now for 40 years. So it has taken me through an entire lifetime of employment, and it's been very rewarding for me. So really, if you boil it all down to it, it's asking questions, just being curious. Try to learn new things all the time. You don't do it just for the grade, do it just because it's fun. And I think it will be it'll provide energy for you, and it'll be easier for you to sort of learn new things and get through life in many different pathways. That's how I feel like I got to where I am today. I've been very curious, and I've been able to learn new things, and it's allowed me to broaden my perspective on opportunities.